thinking and speaking are special kinds of living, special kinds of physical ongoing living, and they have their own continuity. So the whole TAE procedure, which is fairly simple, is also, philosophically speaking, a smashing attack, you might say, on the current philosophy of now. And notice that each individual is an endless intricacy, really. And each individual experiences an enormous amount of articulated sense that life makes, and problems that it makes, and questions that it generates. And every individual is an immense fund of what culture and the public language never heard of. And if you do the TAE procedure, you will be saying things that have never been said in the history of the world. One thing about TAE is, while it's in the middle period, while we're going through it, there's always a sort of struggle and pain and difficulty. But at the end, people are very excited. They've discovered that they can think. And now that I have done this with people a lot, I really, at first I was surprised, but now I'm not. I see that, of course, we all learned that thinking is that other thing. We learned that thinking means you put yourself away and you learn certain checker pieces and then you rearrange them and give them back. That thinking is something separate from the person. And that is so prevailing, you know, not get it. So with that being thinking, most people come away from their school years feeling that they can't think. It's not their thing and they can't really do it. And they just accept that. They get tremendously excited when they discover that of course they can think. It's this. It's making terms directly from what you already livingly know. It's making sentences in which the words can mean what they've never meant before, but what they mean for you. And you can go back in there and say, what is that word doing in my sentence? And it opens up and you have more. And this is a subtler, much more precise kind of thinking than we learn, even in philosophy. And yet it's a procedure that you can teach and you can empower people to think. So I am very, very strident on this matter, that don't tell people that they can't think anything that isn't already in the library, just the opposite. What's already in the library, we don't need them to think. What you haven't yet said, that's where there is value. And the more private it seems, the further away from the public language it is, the more it's going to be important to all of us when you can articulate it. From there are a lot of very precise, very well worked out, historically famous systems and strategies and kinds of concepts which one learns, and any one of those is enriching and interesting and helpful. And that you can't really replace. But at the end of all of that, to not be trapped in one of these, but to be able to use all of them or any of them, and to see what you can get from all of them or any of them, you need to stand again in your own experience, in your own felt ongoingness, which is this intricate complexity inside of life. And if you stand there, then you can use any and all of these strategies. And it turns out, and this is really shocking to me, it turns out that even if you don't know any of them, you can still do something from there. You can still formulate what you know that hasn't been said and can't be said in the public language. You can still formulate that, even though you don't have all this machinery and training and facility to be able to think about how come you can say it, how language actually works, what it is, all those things which I think are immensely valuable and I've spent my life on. You actually don't have to have them for this one practice, this one purpose, this one capacity to put into the world what hasn't been said yet that you're carrying from your particular experience.